Oh dear, I'm surprised.
It is well.
But the baby abo go.
Yeah, we bra. Yeah, we. Be fine so.
It
is well. It is well. It is well.
Na nka bebe she me space no na me tie musansa am so no eze bi. Me tie kan sem ni.
And unti ase o.
Me there is one thing about me. Me will view and policy as a communicator for politically exposed person. May have a template in addressing process.
Yeah.
And especially, it will not be wise for you to even attack the credibility of Musa.
Yeah.
Because we're gaining public trust.
Yeah.
And so, Ebasa, quite a basic panic on the Habai, but the first year testing the Banyansa phone.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, no, semi discrediting Musa, the first question was say, vote to ban the Canada Japan. It really doesn't add anything to Canada Japan.
Right.
But there are ordinary Ghanaians and reasonable Ghanaians. One of them say, I'm just being in a denial state. Because one more year the agency. When people build trust and credibility, a weapon.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can use it well, sometimes they can also weaponize it.
Yeah.
Mama, clear instance. I mean, that is my personal reservations. Way is not a campaign issue.
Yeah.
Somebody like Anas is somebody I have issues with.
Yeah.
Why? Because let me say, we build a public trust. And he's relevant because state institutions are also fighting corruption has failed. In some way, somehow, Abem as the Messiah.
Yeah.
But in being Messiah, no, I said now so next chima kakrebi ede who are the same adana or fight no. Or say you see the public trust no, and then or done confidence na when no, and also abuse the trust. That's me.
All right.
The process can do that.
Right.
But whether they are doing that or they are not doing that, we obia make us say address certain issues like this. How do you go it? And me, I've addressed Musa on so many occasions. First time Odipo buying, I picked the phone and called him. Now me call Joy. Now me opening now. We the assementi ase kakra. Because even the last election, Dr. Bawumia had almost 137 members of parliament supporting him because he was an establishment candidate. So yeah. Over 6,000 appointees, the best you can do is to shut up.
Right.
Also DCs were his campaign coordinators by default.
Yeah.
All the 276 constituencies. All constituency executives, all the 17, who could draw born in Abakacha's on your day on support.
Right.
So he was indeed the establishment candidate. And President Akufo-Addo was very intentional. And this is Akufo the enemy. Uso Akufo the also my ejuma. Me dobane chifala monya de mumwano. We just we just me the neighbor mupo monya de munsonimu.
All right. Despite
their course so having the state security apparatus to engineer everything on the election day, only 61% too.
Right.
Tiasemni you. Tidipa only 61% are Kennedy or no. Literally barely about 6 months while they prepare for elections, so it's me 37%. Then afi and then normal says the waves and momentum Ken has been able to sustain it for that long. Now I heard Brian's what tells him. Brian was in Bawumia's camp, so okay,
yeah,
very strong.
Yeah,
arguably now there are speculations that vice presidential near Tepono.
Right.
Me and Papa Dr. Duchum. I mean, you can downplay him in all the regions, but Ashanti factor and Ashanti cars he's playing, you can't take it about 7% from him.
Yeah.
What I say? Because observation and reasonability are also variables and components in research.
Yeah.
What I say? You're going to research, you can say, oh, about a quarter, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, Donald Trump being at 12%. It won't be reasonable. It defied the logic and consistency. Said no. Yeah. Because there are references in previous elections, a bit in the Agayede. AGYAPONG no need about Bawumia camp.
Yeah.
And no contesting. President Akufo-Addo was the one who was in the helms of affairs. No other ship no ko. Because he's and no abandon ship no. Until Lord come in money then be up baby in the afa. I'm not able, I don't have the permission to label baby a binumi day.
Yeah.
But at least with President Akufo-Addo, with Camp.DETAILS, with Dr. Brian Champong, and with Dr. Duchum, these are objective realities and you'll be there.
Yeah.
And these are big fishes. No, all of a sudden, they'll pull from. And the MPC could be D. Ken. So, now I feel Ken no 37 and Dr. Bawumia and the camp match almost by 5 different divisions. You know, Ken Mum now drops to 17.
Okay.
But this is my approach. Me, I see every pool as a guide and a template to guide you and a good feedback for you.
Right.
Because some of the pools will favor you. Now, only pool no, pool how the basis is that first of all you have to look at the methodology in the AUC. Methodology na predator outcome in the
Yeah.
In Musa's case, this is the so one more random sampling to fidina na the EFA.
Yeah.
Assuming say fidina fa, our program say fidina fa, enipa 20 from each constituency na free randomly. That itself will give a bias and skewness. Una rekundia. Okodo me kwabenya. One more delegate is about 1,800. Over for MENA is about 230. And if we are picking 10 randomly from each constituency,
but I know you disproportionate. On caso pick if. But what if ABA stratify sampling? Which say in stratify sampling,
yes.
Oh yeah, now what their unity so that you know that say baby swan oma more sampling
exactly
and baby swan so
100%. Me bahano. I'm not sure that dantem because I mean without disrespect to any journalist, there are some you go you don't even prepare. But me share that dantem because I wanted to rest. And I am not flow saying some of them be say what questions and not necessarily so on a certain question, but sometimes to be guided. No. Me flow organically say and I'm happy where you are going. Yes, as at now no. We don't have. I have not had the opportunity to review the full methodology that you see.
Yeah.
But I'm borrowing his own words.
Yeah.
I can't say move to go randomly.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that when you do the random sampling, one of them could be the simple random and the stratified now. Now the argument could be A or B.
Yeah.
And either of them, no, it could be their working.
Yeah.
It could also be their mesomedia making.
Say but issue 10.
Yes. Who you to 10. So then you get the bias thing.
Right.
And you say you're wrong. But the outcome will be a bit skewed based
because
on the methodology.
Because a bit does to change. It's also DB.
Yes. And you can find 10. Now can find for 10. You won't get the true representation.
That's also true.
And you may be doing a percentage terms. If you are doing percentage terms there, then it will be reasonable. Percentage terms that you'll be doing about 180 people, whilst a beer. If you're using 10%, maybe a formula, you'll be doing around 27 people.
Exactly.
What I say. So we may have to get clarity into it. But for me, this is my view.
I'm undecided for Bishisha.
I'm coming there.
Yeah.
For me, this is my position on polls. Papa Musa Dankwayene Juma. I will not sit here and discredit him.
Right.
Yadana say. He's done his job. Osha, there are pollings that he's predicted so right. If you look at, for instance, 2020, you know, Obayachu.
Yeah.
2019. He was able to get what almost President Akufo-Addo had. No, he had it almost right.
Right.
But President Mahama had 34%. But President Mahama had around 43. 10% difference.
Yeah.
And the polling there is not absolute.
Yeah.
It's just a projection in. That's not so for crying polling.
Yeah, of course.
But the whole point is that it's just a feedback to make us to work so hard. There are other polls that has predicted so right and so strongly for Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Sanity Africa there yebi.
Yeah.
TV3 yebi.
Yeah.
Manjoy yebi.
Yeah.
And all of them Ken is leading. All of them Ken is leading.
Yeah.
Sanity Africa crowd was targeted delegates specifically. But the reason why Musa Dankwah's own has become topical is because of the relevance he's built for himself over the history.
I get it.
And say now no
yeah.
Can hold kakra because I was a pundit.
Yeah.
And quickly what he did was or making youth and started then doing exit poll. So that if it is not here, the exit will then vindicate him. There is no 100% precision. But I mean reasonably, objectively. How would then somebody move from 17 with all this background from 37 with all this background and history?
But so can be may on say nano or that analysis.
Yes.
The delegate system, no, Momu delegates, no, and Kokrafoni also.
Yes.
And these people, it's difficult to change.
The last time Minekasa, he mentioned about 70-something%. But when I checked the data, it was less than that. It was around 54.
Now even 54,
yes. But
when you have 54, even 50% as delegates are or from 50 years and above.
That would be around 45 plus.
Yeah, so even 45, but they are conservative. They're against JJ4 because 45 years JJ.
Yes.
It is typically a strong MPP person. On one to men this one to aba. That person will be a delegator. Now see we ni epeno and I ento on so a nsesa no say den kakra
nsesa den unim it boils down to nkomo ye betwitwi it boils down to messaging.
Okay,
it is undisputed say ye researcher aye ni nkomo aye die nyina no Dr. Bawumia solely hope and idea the straw he's holding on brain so funny the second chance. Oh, and if I am Kennedy or I'm a communicator of Kennedy, my only issue, and as I say, the only burden on me is I should explain to the delegates why second chance in MPP, even though it's a true history, but the proper history, has always been contingent on performance.
Okay.
What I say? Juma. What I say? And polling there, when say duration also counts. In the next 5 days, depending on also a Juma, but the skewness of the figure to tell me say, Brother Champo Benya 1%. Who can say
but say on this side, because on this side they be war.
Yes,
and no to me
it's 27%. Yes,
you understand?
27,
that's a lot.
Yeah. When you are an establishment candidate, people are not afraid to associate themselves with you.
Okay.
Nti Dr. Bawumia no establishment no be anim say yesi bia ebi susu say executives di nachi ebi susu say mpanifo we na hye nachi wono no de ehun no ne yafiri who's establishment technically it's like the party is for you.
Yeah,
I mean some way somehow obi ani wa osuro say obeka che oso ama establishment candidate and say obi obeka che so undecided bia ye nipa so ye de ohwe ni yi. Me if you ask me, I'm not worried because I calculate Ken votes to be the 17% no or the amount no, but you bet him about 17 plus undecided is 24 me boy.
Yeah.
17 plus 24 me say 17 plus 24 should give us 41%. Now, assuming without admitting this logic is to suffice, because now we are all doing analysis.
Yeah.
This logic is to suffice. Now, Bawumia stands as 47, Ken stands at what? 41.
So, you know, can say likely say
run off. I'm not worried, bro. But when him say me a Bawumia fan, and if I'm a Bawumia's camper, I should be worried. Do you know how I should be worried?
Tell me.
In a year ago, I had 61% in the last primaries. With all the support and the machinations and the establishment support on only 61%.
Right.
Then Musa did the polling just last month. Polling our year last month, only said Dr. Bawumia on 52%. Right? And in the space of 1 month, Dr. Bawumia has dropped from 52% to say 47%. That is a 5 percentage point drop. Very significant. And if the trajectory is to go like that from 61 to 52 to 47 in the next 4 months, but no one is what to drop by 20%.
Possible.
Yes, and I could drop by 20%, and also 32%. And I don't see Dr. Bawumia crossing 32%.
32% for delegates, Nana.
Yes, you could talk about that.
Hey, I don't say Dr. 30%.
When they tell Musa not data near you. She has sent you.
So,
Mami fadi bi a no me afun ti o. Mr. John 20. Me bra pani no ti. Asem ni ni.
Yeah.
Now no 61%.
Right.
With the delegates, and they are verifiable votes.
Yeah.
Then Musa just last month did the polling. So polling not just about me had dropped from because the album has not changed significantly.
Right.
And he has dropped from 61% to 52% in the last election. Last poll now Musa in the space of 1 month, we're moving from 52 to 47.
Right.
That is 5 percentage point drop. Yes, that's what 5. And until Oka said there's likely to be runoff. Assuming without admitting, second, 8 and 5 percentage points now they are dropping. Can just 4 regions so.
And Odinya
5 percentage drop affected Bawumia. It is a can to me other 12 regions near the account. As I had a back to back. What it means in if you are to go by Musa's own analogy. Every month be or 5% now. The next 4 months of Dr. Bawumia so quoted 20%. What 20 free? Because I said 20 free 47 he is around 27. And I'm so Papa didn't mean 32%.
And you mean 32.
By Musa don't quite
that can is when you say.
Hey, now say me I'm projecting around
record you.
Yeah, I'm projecting. You see, me, I'm a very realistic person.
I understand. Tell me, see your recording.
Yes, I'm
recording.
I'm projecting.
Cameras, baby, I am for the name also.
Oh, you need to wait my house.
Okay,
it is my projection. That can maybe.
But
it is my projection that can maybe do around 62 to 64%.
Mr. Officer, repeat.
It is my projection Second may be doing around 62 to 64%. We are winning Western North.
Okay.
We are winning Ahafo.
Okay.
We are winning Bono. Bono is, as at now, we may need to work so hard.
Right.
But Bono is, say, Yentime winning pa, very close.
Right.
Savannah will be close.
Okay.
The other 4 northern regions, Dr. Bawumia will win.
Okay.
But upper east. Sorry.
Northeast.
No. Northeast. Upper east, Boko issues, It will also be very close because of the Kusasis and the Mamprisis factor, where Kusasis from Council and also power.
Right.
We win Greater Accra.
Okay.
Right? We win Eastern. We win Volta. Dr. Bawumia be winning. It's likely he will win Oti. Asante obviously will be a decider.
Okay.
Asante no say a beam because now okay the last time Asante nya first lady because candidates will be in free house.
Yeah.
Dr. Bawumia free enough. Ken is also from Asante, even though we're living a life in our Kumasia.
Oh, candidates.
The 2 leading candidates.
Okay. Yeah.
Say Brian also free.
I now refu Papa Ntini and Mentiazi.
Oh, there be say asema can.
Can you say 4?
Oh, they make the 2 leading one.
Okay. Obi and free.
So contest biano. Where they are, you have the dominant ones.
Supporters in this will play Brian for name. When them come Japan for the 0. No, it's not fair to us.
Oh,
what they meet you.
But so
Kwabran Sofia so correct.
Yeah. Wow, Okasa. Oh yeah, interview ni Musa Ekano. But this is about the 33 day. But this is about Brandy.
Oh, the
team. But let me put it this way. So the 2 leading candidates, which is Ken and Dr. Bawumia, will be in free her.
Okay.
Right. But case in the say, identity politics is very real.
Very.
We are almost so when I think for harmonious living in the identity politics is very real.
If we have free
it's true. It's true. How come all the 11 MPs from the north now what to be that? But the point is the last time Asante region, first lady was Kunedu.
Yeah.
In the history, I know Claude President Kofo.
Yeah.
As you are 2 abasine, we are Ghana ni penina.
I said no free bono, ne yeri free bono side.
Yeah, me tell no President Kofo no free her.
Yeah.
But ne yeri crowd no free her.
Yeah.
But President Kofo any Kunedua, we've not had any other person close to the presidency again. No.
That's true.
What I say.
That's true.
And it is a case can you free Mampon here?
Okay, as a great Mampon.
There be a
Asante Mampon. Okay, that's fine.
Asante Mampon said nano a year cry and she's going to be stationed here.
All right.
She's also going to be stationed or by Brutete Hania Cry and most of the account communities to also campaign. And the air corner, the normalcy corner how projections in the me, I don't see can doing anything less than 62 to 64%.
All right. Now, Yenkoha. I mean, congratulations in advance, Bema. But we cannot overrule outside the party.
Yes.
And I'm saying this because of the experience that we've had.
Okay.
I remember Muchusu Napo.
Yes.
And say it's a public knowledge on our position and what I said. Say you may be popular because even at the time Alan Freeman Keno, post waha.
Yeah.
Emma mu confirm me say instead of Bawumia no peken. It was clear.
Yes.
That I'm talking about 2024. That time instead of Bawumia no peken.
Yeah.
But Mutuma Bawumia, because they said that Mutuma Bawumia won't win. They said it on a platform. The records are there. Now, Canon so I want the baggages.
Oh,
yes. And Mehusa will let Ken be Ken. But you see, Kakra means me who Ghana for no say sometimes we can be a bit funny. Baby, what touchy. In Sambia or Kaye. Ebia delegates may forgive.
Yeah.
A day na more because don't overrule the anger outside. You may need them.
Yeah.
The pastoral, I've seen a lot of pastors they are still referring, even though I know say we're apologizing. But see, Ghanaians are funny. The hurdle of trying to now come into the Ghana space where nanu being sema ubin so what are you going to do about it?
I mean, sometimes I disagree with you on a lot of things, including your style as a journalist. But there's one thing I cannot take from you. There is one thing I cannot take from you. A sense of reasoning. Anyhow, with that question. Me, I like it like this. And I mean, state one of the stations I'm a choir manager. I join the city. because nkomo no was ro tietimi twetwe nsem ne dey eba ema ebie ma ekoyi. And this is a very valid question. You see, me and Ambeka let Ken be Ken.
Yeah.
And I have to state it on record that let Ken be Ken was relevant then in a context. But right now, it's a message that gradually has to be toned down.
Okay.
But what did I mention as it? Because
BBM.
What was the context? The context was nobody cares about what Ken is bringing on board. All what everybody cares about is Ken is temperamental, Ken is this, Ken is this. They say yes. Nana, Ken ye nipa. Just like me no wotie. There were shortcomings. We have strengths and shortcomings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far I said be no more to it. Sometimes if you are exposed to their private life, that's
true.
But they manage it in a nice way.
Right.
Ken has strengths or weaknesses. Said them say and no kind, you know. And then we be na papa. What I say. But even normal or you who say your shortcomings and so temperamental and it all depends on how we want to view it.
Okay.
And again, how we also want to harness it for the development of our country.
Right.
Nipa also a temperamental. No? It could be true. But have you also looked at Ken also being so passionate about getting results
done?
Say, I don't know why now Ken the on chima. I say Ken the what did the party for them? What was the contest? This is a man now from the 92 BC. He has always been in defense of the party.
Right.
What did you see? Ye party, Juma, ye party, for ya, and to tell that party next year. I feel like Cobroso. Ya dear no na kuma ede. Mama one instance.
Right.
A party focus ya President Akufo-Addo. Gabi Sh0cking dako. Asante Bedie to Osafo Mafo. No mu kushia party mpanifo ne party makakra.
Right.
E wo Gabi fi e wo Kufuor. No mu dim komo na say no obi afafo a recorded the Osafo Mafo ye de e kan. Na some Osafo Mafo kan ni modu ne hadwen so kakra.
Yeah.
Assembly say as a superiority complex and rivalry between the Achems and the Asantes.
Yeah.
Nipa no record we no de koma one farm ro inshira no one farm koma you one farm call man so no de ko pro NDC station Accra FM no mo ko boy ankade or how no ye ne kese pa beto the Asantes and the Achems yeah no be man Akufo-Addo like ka brahman inshira na be dey e be patcho no be ya na sense so ye the eguzo when Ken heard it no see MPP for mo ejimi mo yankwasiafo.
Yeah.
You see how the context is he doesn't understand why any reasonable person
because in KNDC for nkomunye then na wo MPP ni wo besa na say unim nyansa. I agree.
What I say?
I agree.
Obia or how he addresses issues. Me I'm a communication person.
Yeah.
Musa Dankwadi Adebayi. Somebody will rubbish it. Oh, Musa Onya credible, Onya Papa.
Yeah.
I don't see it as anything to us.
Yeah.
The mayor no boko. The mayor me address you. I can make us say dia nipa ye. There's a nyansa day anymore. Ken kanasa. Ken make us say moya kwasiafo. But you see, we are highly conservative, like we said.
Exactly.
What I say. And normally you also need to learn and adapt. But again, context is also very important.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is say, let us also not weaken our leaders, especially when we know say one more character traits be a bit my head. You have a be or you're bold or you're courageous. Also, you will timid challenging a party for or timid kind of create nipa. Why do we want to change such a person to fit into a certain template that we call presidential material from time immemorial 92 up to now?
Donald Trump stand
No, not really. Americans are different from us.
Okay.
But I'm saying that in as much as he keeps his strength, he also needs to balance it to also fit within the Ghana. That's why now it has changed from let Ken be Ken to
let Ken be Ken to
the old Ken fought for you, but the new Ken will build.
It's a new Ken.
Yes, yeah. But you see, we are also
but
mindful.
Is it not because it's an open position? Because me I say, you would just say, "I branch be none who fin pan." Or just say the bianata, but okaso pe SP no. If you hold ban was shining,
what say
what pile baby what the crab ya say.
We are also mindful not changing him. That's why I say or nipa or a shortcomings.
Yeah.
And normally I'm sure say if you give him the opportunity on kind of side
I get it.
Not necessarily because position already always. Mama one example.
Yeah.
Recently we catch him say Ken pass off watch. And I said I won't even go and tell him this and he won't do it. No Musa now say what be do so for atem or say Debbie. No say me a praise bini or me di me so for atem. Me this would do Roman so for be atem. South of will do matter me fine. Nigeria Gezi, but
they have following. But they have following.
No problem with that.
You need them. You need them. So it's very important.
I agree with you. But make us some Nana.
Because Sh0cking one Manchester more following.
Can never attack one. I'm coming, Nana.
But they feel. You see, you're explaining, which I agree. But the point is that sometimes it's not just. For example.
But if you had allowed me to land, I was coming though. If you had allowed me to land, the point I was making is, what is the context? The context is not say Ken Ejasofo and I pass off as him.
Yeah.
But this is Unkrofua. Subsequently, Omukra back came fee and all the allegations he leveled against them. So more your car smuggling, yeah, Jim Crawford, say, yeah, ABC. They came to him to apologize to him.
Yeah, I get it.
So why then do you say? Ken should then make a U-turn and go and apologize to them in the name so position.
For the optics
yes, but for the balance is also that then people would then see Sakwano or Bohankano. He's a hypocrite. Ken
no, I'm not sure so Moka say Obwa because people loved it. I'm sure say the tone at which okay. You know, sometimes a bit me a kabibi. Nay no cre. But you see tone. There have been times I've been hard on an Ekufano. But they said, okay, no cre, but your tone. So I apologize. Then I do apologize. You understand?
Who apologizing for tone?
No, apologizing for the tone, which is very important because we are in the conservative environment. And they be one cat, they say, okay, can be can say, but we can say. Communication because of our system. What they are saying, you can use nonsense in USA. You can say F the president in USA. Ebi a wunti mean kanisa. So people are saying, say, can the name so
but the tone is not the act.
No, but the tone is important because gesture. In communication, gestures are very important. Tones are very important.
But how then do you go? For instance, somebody commits a grievous offense.
Yeah.
You condemn it in ultimate terms.
Yeah.
Then because you want a position as a presidential candidate or to be a president, you go and say, what are you going to apologize for? Say, I don't know why I said your kind of.
No, so bet me a can, but the point of fire and you say ultimate or babatian or dokwanso. And it's only a papa to me was a damas mabo. You know, so I think that no, that's a feedback for you. I think, for example, how you are communicating, very perfect. People are just praising how you are communicating because of that experience. Can me who my attitude need be one who I mean I like straightforward things and I am able to resonate. But in our system and conservative system, there are certain things you could say, but the how is important. Nana, the how now can no. If you say the how no.
I agree with you.
So maybe the how.
Omaya yewo jatwa hini womo. Know the context of Omaya no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you should also not hide under the umbrella of conservatism. Let us also not run away from the canker culturally. Into us.
Exactly.
There are a lot of times that we don't have to be modest on certain situations.
I agree.
You have to be very hard.
Unfortunately,
my mom situation be this situation. I don't see the better tone that you can describe how I didn't go for the echo. Say if you have been a victim to any person whose name maybe I mean not one will repeat or mention again. If you are a victim to it, now you're vulnerable. Now you asasi be a good be a dema yaje and these guys keep destroying families. And then later you say, oh, because of the tone, we should then go to ABCD and apologize to them. Yes, you see, Ken because of Ken no. The support base is where grassroots now say Sadia Okayo. So it has to be a fine balance.
Yeah.
And what is the fine balance? The fine balance is that from January till now,
right
now Ken speaks modestly, Ken speaks nicely,
Ken
address Saturday already about
Ken will be Ken.
Ken will be Ken. That's it. And I know America is about move.
I mean him. On the
material.
Yeah.
What America? You are invited. Then people place a call here to US chapter MPP.
Yeah.
And no panel event now. No, my friend Crawford say, Ken movement is not recognized by the MPP in cancel event.
Oh,
who does that?
Yeah,
and how then?
No, Ken will be Ken.
Ken will be Ken.
I support.
And right now, Ken will be Ken.
All right.
Let Ken be Ken. But at the same time, Ken is like a boxer.
Yeah.
When we are in the ring, you beat your opponent so mercilessly.
Yeah.
But he doesn't go about after so a free ring in himself. We share we are no abono.
Time we share Bawumia crowd. There's that mutual respect.
He's a nice person.
All right. Final word. Friends of Ken. I was from a magazine. No more team.
I want time is about.
now 3 years me ma 20 minutes were high it is mama 1 hour
mame final word no address it mame address it just I mean just 2 minutes but just 2 minutes mame address it the second chance
1 minute
oh second chance mean for 1 minute mame try
yeah the time so
the catch party for the Ghana for nyina say MPP abakosem no ya to ankrofo so but akama me kasa amfo na ede e chene nto aso
yeah
omo ayamo makọ ni mpre no ni mpre so so nyina e demonstrate so metima ede aye bibi
right
adubu ahekọfa the party ni baaye ọkọ onya 30.9%.
Right.
Second time kwa amana nkobio because say wanya de.
Right.
President Kufuor de ko 39%. No wa chese obetima yede ayo nti amana to aso. Ana ode kokọ wini e. President Kufuor do eso kura be fa President Kufuor 39% no ko 49. Ono kwa de o ka wini first round.
Yeah.
Ana chiri ekọ ya osade yede e bai. Nti wuntimi me fa Akufo-Addo de even the recent one na emeteso by 33%.
Right.
Ukrum kwateso by 16%. Emeteso by 1.6 almost 1.7 million votes.
Right.
Now one show demonstration be our reward or second chance. In general, I see a Magana for the party for United second chance, no, and not just contingent on showing up, but has always been premised on performance.
Right.
And Yakoto Aba out of 9 regions, you were Makuma 90 ACs, MPP will move 5. You were 4 regions, you need just 1 parliamentary slot seat. Abaya Koto Yano. Almost 400,000 of Yanko for to my parliamentary etutia presidential.
Right.
So it be a party in in the spirit of revival in Kenya. I say a quarter assemblies of God in the presby to the say in Kenya in party that 32 years. Dr. Bawumia President Akufo 16 years. The nipa be o my abwa o mun free sin him. Ni enfo obi obetima gitumi aba. And that is Owura Kennedy Ohene Ejapong.
Yeah, that's it. They say aka 4 months, right?
Aka 4 months, yeah.
And now more kwa 61%, no.
62 to 64.
62 to 64. Because you can't that's it. Yami Shra.
Eyeballs no ko pa o. You 200 o.
So I know about.